Hi guys, today we have a video which has been a long time in the making. That is of course a review of season 10 of The Walking Dead. The reason it's been a long time in the making is because this season first aired back in 2019 and has only just concluded now in 2021. It was filled with many production issues since the outbreak of COVID-19, and in the past couple of months they did release 6 new kind of bonus extra episodes for this season. So now that it's technically finished, I can now review the whole of Walking Dead season 10. Where season 9 ended, it was shocking. That immediately made me excited for this season, where I hadn't really been excited for a season of Walking Dead for a couple of years since the quality has dropped. But the introduction of Alpha in that season has just reignited my interest in this show, and that continues throughout this season. The Whisperers, they're just so intimidating, you're not sure what could happen with them, and that feeling is throughout this season, as we see early on in the season when there is a Whisperer who infiltrates Alexandria and kills Sadiq. Something which you could see brewing in that previous season, which you expected answers in this season, was what would happen with Negan, because he showed signs of becoming good, but then you can't really trust him. And those signs, well, they continue in this season, but we get some more answers. At first you feel like, okay, he's turning part of the community, he's going to be good, it's going to be frowned upon, but he's looking like he's going in that direction. And then he breaks out of prison and joins the Whisperers, and he looks like he's back to his old self, his old insane self. But then there was just some glimmers of hope that you think maybe he isn't going back to himself. His storyline throughout this whole season was what I was most intrigued in and interested in. It was one of those where it was like tossing and turning, where you don't know what side he's gonna lean towards, but then as we find out, he's being a man on the inside the whole time and ended up killing Alpha, which I found was very shocking. In the past, it's been criticized that this show has way too many characters, and they try and kind of build an arc for each one of those characters throughout the season. Here, a lot of those characters are present, like none of them are really killed off, but they could just push them to the side and give them a little screen time, which sounds harsh, but I actually prefer, because they can really focus on the storyline instead of feeling as if they have to develop these characters. And that does allow for more minor characters to be more developed, and I actually really enjoyed some of those relationships like Daryl and Connie, which then plays into the mid-season finale, which I thought was very good, and found it very tense, as I thought we could lose good old Jerry. As for the extra episodes, the bonus ones, I'll talk a bit more about them in the cons, but I can just say we did get some good episodes, mainly the one which was aired yesterday as of filming, which was Negan's backstory. You could really see that different side to him, and for all the psychotic things he has done, it makes you kind of feel bad for him, which is very strange. Overall, it is a continuation of season 9 in terms of its positives, but there are some negatives which we need to talk about. So overall, it was another solid season, but it was very inconsistent. A lot more than it was in season 9. What I've just found with a lot of these seasons, especially these later ones, is they have too many episodes. They don't know what to do with some of those episodes, and it really can drag at points. I did like that in the beginning of this season they are developing that element of maybe a bit of safety, that the Whisperers may be gone, but I think they just kept it in the darkness for too long, and it dragged quite a bit. Because once it did get going, it was very good, but it was a very slow start for me, and it could have contained quite a few less episodes. I mentioned with the Whisperers and with Alpha's death, they executed that storyline well, and I guess they executed her well, both in terms of story and her actual character as in executed. But I feel as though they could have saved it maybe for the finale, not the finale of those bonus episodes, the actual finale of this season, the one which feels like the stakes are high, because once they got rid of Alpha, even though I feel like it was a correct decision and no real regrets there because it led to some good things, it led to Beta being in the spotlight, Beta being the Alpha, even though he can't accept that. We know a lot of people are crazy, but this just felt a bit too silly. He started carrying around Alpha's head, and then he'd listen to what the zombified head would say, and in his mind it would make up some words that he would have to follow, and I just found that really silly, especially for Beta, who's been like this big intimidating figure for these past two seasons, and it just led to his death, which I thought once again was very silly, how he just stood there and took it. If it wasn't for those silly elements with Beta, I think the finale could have been one of the best in the show, but it pulled it down quite a bit. And as for those bonus episodes, I mentioned it gave us a really good episode with Negan's origins, but it also gave us some of the worst in this entire show. You can really see that COVID-19, it's really damaged what they could do with what they could film, and like many people have said about these bonus episodes, if you don't have the proper resources to make them, and I just don't think you should, because there's an episode they try something with Princess, the new character. Fair enough, they tried something new, but it wasn't really executed well. But I respect they did try something. The episode after that was such a dumb decision. They devoted a whole episode to Carol making soup and trying to catch a rat. So I don't think these bonus episodes really added much to me. It did sprinkle some elements which we were bound to find out in season 11, but as for changing my view of the season overall, it kind of damaged it a little bit. So that was my review of season 10 of The Walking Dead. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and if you want to see any more Walking Dead content, in a couple of days time I should be having a Walking Dead ranking coming out of all the seasons, so that's a big one, so make sure you stick around for that one. Let me know what you thought of season 10 of The Walking Dead down below in the comments. But as for rating for this season, it's certainly not one of the best, but it's far from what the worst has been in this show, so I'm going to give it a 75%, but as I said, certainly not one of the best of this show overall. A good return to form from what it had previously done a couple of years ago.